You're listening to the Thoroughbred podcast, an elite business leadership podcast.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Thoroughbred podcast. Got a super exciting, it's going to be fire today, by the way. Parental warning advisory issued, because I'm here with my man, Mr. Danny OBrien. And before I jump into Danny, I want to just thank you guys for subscribing, checking us out on thoroughbredpodcast.com, trying to bring you real raw truths about, business leadership and about the real estate market and just life in general. And with that said, we got just a guy that makes me I just have a lot of fun with you, Danny. You bring out a side of me that I have to suppress a lot, which I love being able to bring that side out because that's who I am. And so today we've got Mr. Danny OBrien on the show. What up?
Appreciate you guys having me. I'm excited to be on the Thoroughbred podcast. Elite Hustlers, baby.
Elite Hustlers, baby. So let's just jump right into it. Give you a little background on Danny. Danny is from Fenton, grew up here, and Danny's a baller, right? So he played college ball. Tell us a little bit about your history, and maybe even from high school and that transition to college and how that all looked for you.
Yep. So I started off playing youth football in Grand Blanc up at the Grand Blanc Rec League, and then took that on and went to St. John's for middle school here in Fenton, and then took it to Powers. And ever since I dressed up as a little Barry Sanders when I was a kid, I knew I wanted to play college football, and I set my mind to it, and there was no way I wasn't gonna make it happen. So
I love it.
It's my sophomore year at Powers, I had a good season. I made my own highlight tape and sent it. I spent like $300 was all I had, and I sent it to every school in the country.
No doubt, to all of them?
Yeah, every single one.
Oh, my gosh. I remember writing handwritten letters to coaches when I was trying to play hockey in college.
Yep. And then they started calling back, and then that summer I got my first scholarship offer from Tennessee, and then they started piling up after that, but I decided to go down to Tennessee. I wanted to play in the Southeastern Conference against the most elite players, elite competition, and I knew I could get on the...
You were going to swear right there. I could tell.
I'm holding it back for y'all. But no, and I just want, I believe.
So when you say you sent it to every college,
every
SEC college, or as many as you could possibly write
every
to?
Power 5 school, I think it was like 95 tapes out.
Okay, so I just want our audience to kind of sit on that a minute, right? Because in real estate, in business, you're going to get out what you put in. I mean, it doesn't matter where you're at. You can have all the tools in place. You could have had the best highlight video ever, but if nobody saw the damn thing, then it wouldn't have mattered, right?
Exactly.
So that right there, I think, is part of being elite. Just taking the time to not only make the tape, but sending it over and over and over and over.
Addresses, all that. Yeah, it's, sometimes that old school work is the best work you can do.
So I don't know this. So when you were in between sophomore and junior year, that's when you took your offer to play college?
I didn't accept the offer.
Okay.
I just received scholarship, verbal offer, and then I played the recruiting game until I was a senior, and then eventually committed. So I went and visited every school I wanted to make a informed decision. And
what was your second choice?
Either Michigan or Alabama.
All right.
Probably Alabama though. Sorry, all my Michigan people, but I just couldn't do it.
Well, you wanted to be in the SEC.
I did.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's probably just from being a youth and watching it and having an aspiration to be there.
And I really wanted to go out and do my own thing. So.
Well, you did it.
Yep.
And congrats to you. I think that's a huge accomplishment. You've made a lot of great friends through that process, which, it's funny, being an athlete, right? I need a drink of that. So this is being an athlete. I'm thirsty. Danny brings this in, and I'm drinking it. I don't care if you drink out of it because we're athletes.
Yeah, it's a waterfall, bro.
I don't know what he's saying. He just says some stuff once in a while. But, all right, so take us from... obviously, if you played college, you had aspirations to be a professional, correct? So tell us a little bit about that and where you finally figured out, okay, I need to find a different career path, which is now real estate.
So it was one of the toughest times of my life. I didn't know what to do. I after it really became a realization that, I might never play football again. And I'm like, well, what the hell do I do? Because ever since I was 6 years old, I've told myself the only way I can, be successful and be wealthy is through the football field.
Yeah.
And then I called you up on the phone.
I never forget that.
And I was I was down, like, I was in a hole. I might not have showed it when I first started working for y'all, but I wasn't in a good place, and again, it brought me back life once you showed me how to do that. Well, when we talked, I said, I'm interested in getting into real estate, and you stopped and said, "Are you interested or committed?" And that was it.
When I said that to you, again, this is real raw, right? We don't talk about this before. I never know where the conversation's going to go. I'm just speaking the truth from what is, and so I don't have to think about it. But I remember in that moment, I was in my office at the old building, and I remember when I said to you, "Are you interested or committed?" Your demeanor changed.
It completely did.
Almost like, oh, shit. And then also almost
real.
like, oh, he's challenging me a little bit, which I knew would work with an athlete.
That's kind of I literally paused for about 3 seconds, and I'm like, "Who's this dude talking to?"
I'm talking to you, baby.
I'm like, I'm committed. Let's go. And I was in the office the next morning, talked to Todd, went and got my real estate license. This time last year, my brother was making my car payments, and now I'm about to get my own car.
Get your own car.
Yep. And so it's just been a complete 180. And, I couldn't be happier, and I've had so much fun in real estate. Yeah. Just working with people was the biggest thing. I didn't want to go sit at some desk job that, and I wanted to be accountable for what I produce.
Yeah, exactly.
I want the pressure.
Yeah.
Some people are like, "Oh, I want a easy, steady paycheck." You can't take that higher, though. So that was my thing. And
I think as you came in, when we first met in the office, I was like, okay, I like that kid. You're a kid to me. I'm old. But I saw a lot of myself in you, and that's really what motivated me to want to reach out and help you, and I knew that you had that work ethic from athletics. And I think, we've realized a lot of the athletes transfer over well into these type of jobs because, they're personable, right? They do want to work hard. You can challenge them, and they step up to the challenge rather than flee. So I think there's a lot of similarities in that. When you first started, your first week, right? What were you feeling like? You're going from rough and tumble to now you got to put on a suit. You might have showed up in sweatpants for the first interview. I don't know, with your little Doomaflitchy hanging, and then you got to come in a suit, and you were kind of like,
yeah, it was different. I was wearing athletic shorts every single day, and then now I'm waking up and my body feels good though. So it's nice. It's been a nice transition, and it's been nice to see just all the opportunities out in business. And I think one of the biggest things that I realized is how great of a town Fenton is.
Yes.
So when I moved away, when you're a kid, you don't really learn to appreciate a town that's, when you're there. So I moved away and came back, and then I was gone for a little bit longer out training in New Jersey. I was like, I got to go home, and that's where I need to start it.
Yeah.
And to see how much Fenton has boomed.
Oh, it's wild.
It gives me chills. Like, I have a lot of pride from where I come from, and everybody in the state of Michigan feels the same way. And, I just love this town. I love the downtown and how much it's just grown.
It's blowing up.
And, how great people are in this town, and, how everybody supports each other's local business.
I think that is very, very just authentic to Fenton and to our areas. There's so many businesses
that feed off each other.
But also, and we've now joined those rankings that aren't these big national companies.
Yep.
These are mom and pop stores, small boutique type restaurants, brokerages, our brokerage. And I think that's really prevalent in our area, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And the people support it like mad.
I think it's great. You got your chain restaurants here and there, but look at Ruby Tuesdays and Kmart. Gone.
Peace.
And, you got the local restaurants, are killing it. Like
Bad.
the Barn and Fire Hall and, Always Laundry.
All right, so before we go too deep on real estate, because people are going to want to hear about a little bit more about your football background. And so I always like to ask questions that maybe no one else has asked you, right? Because everybody, have you ever scored a touchdown? Did you do this? Did you do that? What was the most difficult part of your college career playing football?
That's a tough question.
You mean everything wasn't all easy?
Oh, no. That's a tough question because most of it was hard. And I think I'd have to break it down into two.
Okay.
So there's the mental and the physical. Physical, practice. Practice was hard. And like, most fans sit there and say, oh yeah, they get beat up in the games, but no, you're banging heads every practice, every single day, unless you're the quarterback or something, but
or the kicker.
Yeah, the kicker. But that physical grind is something that made me stronger every single day, because I knew that if I went out there and didn't perform, my ass was on the bench.
Yep.
And I love that pressure. And I think that's part of the reason why I like real estate too, because the pressure is what gets my ass out of bed in the morning.
Well, and I think, look, in real estate, we maybe don't see it as pressure, but we see it as opportunity, right?
Yeah,
and I think that the ability to make everything that we put into real estate is what we will get out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many people that enter the market, especially right now, because, everybody wants to be a realtor right now.
Everybody.
Because it's so easy. But is that sustainable? And I think that the people that come in and they have a strong work ethic and they get up in the morning with a little bit of fire in their gut, those are the people that can build something, tap into the community, tap into the people, because it's all about the people.
Yep.
And then grow it from there. And you've done a great job with that. So tell us a little bit about, you've been licensed now how long, and with our team how long?
So I got my license 23rd of January.
Oh, you don't remember that day.
I'm going to remember that day. I think my first deal. We know about my first deal.
Yeah, we know about the first deal.
Yeah.
The first deal went south.
Yeah, real quick. So
let's
it was a
set
quick,
that,
humbling experience.
Yeah, let's set that stage real quick. So his very first deal, writes on a $500,000 house. He's negotiating the deal in front of me at my desk, and we put the deal together, and he picks me up. I'll post the photo so you know I'm not playing. Puts me on his shoulder and runs through the hallway, yelling and screaming, my guts bouncing off those big old shoulders. And a good thing I've been working out, or I'd have been out of breath.
You rocked up, bro.
Oh, I'm rocked up. Totally rocked up. Totally drywall. But so super excited, sat down, and then you got emotional.
Yeah. I'm because I told you I never had $7,000 in my life, and that was what the commission was going to be. And I just felt like I made it.
Yeah.
But no, it was just so eye-opening to me, and it was almost like it almost became an addiction then. Not to the the money or whatever. It's just now I want to do this every single day.
Look,
I want to deal.
You want to be successful.
Exactly.
Right?
And nothing's going to stop me.
Yeah, exactly. But something did stop you, because that entire deal fell apart.
Didn't have the money.
It turns out they never could even produce the darn deposit.
Yeah.
But that's a great, like you said, what a humbling experience. The very first deal. Hey, I sold them for $500,000. Just kidding.
Let me get that back. Yeah. So I was all jacked up, and then that brought me back to ground there, back to dirt.
Back to dirt.
And
he was in the clouds, and then he went back to the dirt.
Real quick. But no, I think it was a great learning experience. And now looking back on it, I'm kind of glad I learned it early.
Sure.
And I mean, my wallet wasn't glad at the time, but that's just how it goes. But I think that side of it just showed me, I mean, no downplay in the working world, but playing football was a lot harder than anything I've had to do now. So it prepared me so well. And that's why, like, when people, downplay, a physical sport like football, it's like, how many lessons I learned in that, like being a teammate to these guys and being able to be mentored and
sharing
not
your
get
Gatorade.
an ego. Yeah. Sharing your Gatorade, sharing the showers.
Easy.
Playing.
I'm glad we haven't remodeled yet. Yeah. Chris, make sure we don't put in showers.
Yeah. No, but it was such a fantastic experience, and the people I learned from, and really I got introduced to so many different people too. So I had teammates from California, Florida. My roommate my rookie year, Kenny Bynum, was from Florida, Jacksonville, Florida. Never met him. We talk damn near every day now.
Yeah.
I mean, he is my brother. We're going to Philly this year, catch one of our other teammates' games, and that kid was big in my life, and just opening my eyes to a new way of thinking. Just yeah, that's
good.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive into some business stuff, because really this podcast is about being an elite business person. That's that secondary definition of a thoroughbred. Obviously, you've got the horse, which we've got one racing today, one racing tomorrow, and one racing Friday.
True.
Yep. So we'll be chiming in on that here shortly. But the secondary definition is an elite business person. And I think that, as we go through our real estate careers, we always have to function as if we're elite, even when we're brand new, right? And I think part of that function is dressing properly, sharing experiences with people, becoming close to your clients because they are people and they just want to be treated like people. So where do you feel like, obviously you join our team, right away you're thrown into the mix. You've got open houses, you've got training, you've got leads, you've got all this stuff coming at you. And what I've realized is no matter how great our system is, people still fail inside of the system because it all comes back to the work ethic that they're willing to put forward. But I also realize is that people pick up little parts and pieces or areas of the real estate that they're going to excel at. For example, not everyone's great at an open house. Not everyone's going to be the best converter on a Zillow lead. Where do you feel like you've kind of found your sweet spot? And what would you say to a brand new agent coming in that may have these ideas of grandeur in the market to help prepare them for that career?
I would say the biggest thing is I tried to learn everything about houses and, what everything's called and, just stuff like that a senior, older experienced realtor would walk through a house and not even think about and they'd just be saying. But I think the biggest thing I did was I stopped trying to be something I'm not.
Yes.
And I just connected with the people. So if you ask me a question about what's that, what year is that, I'm not going to lie to you. I'll tell you, I'm going to find out for you, and you're going to get the answer later that night. But, I may not be a home expert right now, and I will be eventually.
You're not a home inspector?
I'm not a home inspector.
I saw that.
Yeah. But I love people, and I love connecting with different people, and I think it's one of the gifts God blessed me with, and
So right there, I think is a great tip for a newer agent or even people that have been in real estate for a little while is don't try to be something you're not. If you don't have the answer, it's okay.
Yeah.
You're not a genius. You're not supposed to be a genius, and you're not supposed to know the answer to every single question in the world. So it's okay to say, you know what, I don't know, but I'm going to get it for you.
Just don't lie.
Just don't lie. Don't lie. Tell them the truth and find out the answers for them. And I think that the other part of that is being yourself because it is difficult. The beauty of when you reach a certain point in your life that you can just be yourself and be real and be raw and do this podcast without, what are we going to talk about? Don't worry. We'll just figure it out. There's a lot of freedom in that. We talked about that on the last show with Jason Will. Like just to be able to just be yourself is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
but the other part, I think the beauty of real estate is you can't just be yourself.
No.
You can't just say whatever's on your mind.
For sure.
And I think that's something I remember going through my career is it forces you to sharpen up a little bit. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to embrace that because, yes, you want to be yourself and be authentic, but you can't show up in tore up jeans and swearing like a sailor.
No, and I think one of my favorite things to do with clients is I like to make it fun. And I like to make them laugh, and I'm good at it. Not to be cocky, but I do like to make people laugh, and I think when we're going out and seeing 5 homes on a Saturday, I think it should be fun.
Yeah,
you guys are getting a new home. Like that's a huge step in your life. Young couples, whoever it is. It should be a fun experience. It shouldn't be stressful, and you should be worried all the time. And it's like, no, you tell me which house you want, and we'll go get it.
Well, and I remember one of the. This was early, maybe one of the first month you were here, and I had some clients that were looking to buy a home, and they said we were trying to set them up with one of our buyers agents, and I said, what are you looking for in an agent? And they said we want to have fun. So of course, in my style, I said, okay, you, whoever would have interest in having this client, send me a video, and the people want to have fun, and so I submitted all those videos, and they chose you.
Yep. Shout out to Eric and Alexa Hofstra.
What's up?
Now
What's
on
up?
Lake Fenton.
That's right, baby.
It's a new boat.
Rocking.
Surfing.
Surfing.
Great people.
Yeah, awesome.
I had a
people.
great time with them.
That's what it's all about, is servicing these people. So let's continue to dissect that, though. So things that we can identify for our audience, for realtors, whether they're new or they've been in the industry for a while, knowing that it's okay not to have all the answers. Obviously, you should have the answers to the things you should have the answers to. But if you go visit a home and it's got some crazy septic field that nobody's ever seen in your lives, it's okay to say, I don't know. I'll get those answers for you, right? I think that's a good one. A second one, kind of sharpening yourself up, being very presentable to your clients. I've gone to open houses and the agent's there in shorts doing the open house.
No. before I forget, I do want to add this thing. One thing I do, and I learned this in football, my coach always made us show up 15 minutes early. Every meeting started 15 minutes early than the posted time.
Yeah.
So every time I show a house, I'm there 15 minutes early. And you know what? A lot of times they are too, because they're driving through the neighborhood.
Exactly.
And if they see maybe the first time, oh, yeah, he's meeting us, for the first time, he might show up early. Second, third, fourth time, it's over.
Well, I think that's an important thing, too. Like, if you're out showing homes, you should be there before your people and have the door unlocked and have the the lights on. I mean, I don't know if you saw this or not. Did you see the ring that one of our clients sent us of that agent showing up on their front step?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I won't share that because it's obvious who it is, but sitting there fumbling with the lockbox, and the people are in the background like, oh, my land, bruh, pull it together. And as he's fumbling with the lockbox, trying to get it open, he's talking, but he's not even talking to them because he's talking into the lockbox. And you could just see the people were so put off by that. Get there early. Get the door opened. Don't do the lockbox in front of them. Get the door open. I mean, I take the lockbox off. I set it to the side. I want the door to be presentable.
I'll put it in my pocket so I don't forget.
There you go. Well, you got big pockets now.
No, but also, so if you're showing 3-4 homes, they'll start following you to the next home.
Then you're
but
not
what
gonna
I
be able
always
to
do,
that.
I always tell my clients, go walk around the yard, because sometimes those lockboxes can be tricky for me, man. The dials and the buttons are little, and my big fingers.
I don't get the dials. I'm like, can't you just give me a number? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's so easy.
We need those Bluetooth things.
By the way, that's not our code. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4. So no sense to going out chasing down our lockboxes.
Yeah. No, but no, I think that's important because, and sometimes I think it's important also to give them space in the house.
For sure.
I don't like to follow them around like a puppy dog.
I call that don't Art Van them, right? Don't be on their jock. Just let them in. Be there to answer their questions. But if they step backwards, they shouldn't be stepping on you.
Yep. They know what they like.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything you're going to say inside a house isn't going to make them want it more, in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, sellers say that a lot. Well, you gotta sell this house. No, I can't. Look, my job is to get people there, right? Yep. As a listing agent, my job is to get people through the front door. And yes, we want to share with them all of the positive things about the home, but you're not going to make someone like something they don't like.
Yeah.
And I think that's a little bit of a misconception when it comes to selling real estate. If they don't have a heartbeat towards it, no matter what you say, you're just going to push them away.
And you can feel it when they walk into a place that they do love.
Oh, for sure. And that's a beautiful thing.
They blow up. Like, you see the wife is like, oh, my God. Yep. Like, it's over with after that.
I know. I love it.
Yeah, that's the best because I've literally, every time I've sold one,
you knew.
As soon as they walked in, I knew it was.
That was the one.
It was it.
That was the
Sometimes
one.
even in the driveway.
All right, so tell us about your daily schedule. Are you, other than the leads you're receiving, how are you prospecting? How are you following up with your clients? What does your week look like? I know for me, I'm here every day. I drop the kids off at school, and I'm here. If I sell a home for $2 million, I do the same routine the next day. And I think in the industry, people undervalue the value of being in the office, being in a collaborative environment where you can, especially as a newer agent, where you can learn off of those around you, where you can just listen to conversations and learn from them, which is why, before this podcast, I had a seller on, I put her on speaker so that you could hear that conversation. That's invaluable stuff.
Yep. And that's why I videoed it. But no, I say when I started, in the wintertime, it was definitely more office hours because, it's winter, it's slower. You're prospecting for people that are going to buy the homes in the spring and the summer. So, I was probably spending 3 hours a day prospecting in the wintertime. And then in the summer, I've been running like a dog. So I can't even give a laid out block schedule, because it's been, I had a day this summer that I showed 17 houses.
That's awesome. 3
different clients.
That's awesome.
Yeah. One saw 7. The other 2 saw 5 each. I filled up my gas tank twice. But
that's good stuff, though.
It is, though, because that month I crushed.
Yeah.
So
well, and you've been, for being a new agent, you've been climbing the leaderboard. We keep a depth chart. I got that from football because I played football too, believe it or not.
Yeah. QB.
And I was a QB and I stopped growing and then I had to do something else.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of the depth chart because for me, I was on the bottom once. There's no way you're going to keep my name at the bottom.
Nope.
There's no shot. So I love the idea of that depth chart. And I think that if that doesn't tap into somebody, then they're probably
They
don't belong. You know, I mean, I think that, and look, everything in life is a little bit of a competition, right? I mean, we always have to be competing, and maybe we're competing with ourselves more than anything. And that's okay.
That's true.
Right? I mean, that's okay.
Because if you hold yourself to a high accountability, standard, then you're not going to settle for less.
Well, and I think, that's people say to me, well, who's your greatest competition in your market?
Yep.
Me.
For sure.
Right? I don't give a shit what anyone else is doing. I've got to get up every day and I've got to go and I've got to improve and I've got to get better, which is why we do all of the coaching stuff on our team, is because we all need coaching. We all need mentorship.
For sure.
Everyone does.
And the only one that can stop you is you, and that's something I've always told myself. When you look in the mirror, that's your only competition. That was the same thing in football. People don't know how much you hinder yourself mentally.
Oh, my gosh.
Like, you build up fears in your head that don't even exist, and it completely cripples you.
Dude, Tom Ferry always says, your head is a scary place to be.
Yeah.
You got to get out of that sucker.
Mine is for sure.
Oh, yeah, your head is real scary to look at, too.
No, but that is something I do believe. People, and the number one thing I think people do is they worry about other people's lives. Everybody has hardships. Everybody has pains and sorrows and triumphs and happiness, but you got to focus on yours, because when you're downplaying somebody else's life for, something they're going through or something that happened to them, or, a mistake they made, or how good they're doing or how great they're doing, it's just, that's not helping you grow.
I always say to people, if you're focused on something negative about somebody else, it's really, that's the
you're
moment.
The loser.
Yeah, that's the moment you need to be reflecting on yourself, because really that's the point, I think, where you're hurting, or maybe what you're projecting is how you're really feeling about yourself. And I think you're right. Everybody has shit, right? I mean, that's what keeps me so compassionate. I've gone through some crazy shit, but that's what has made me so compassionate about other people. That's why I'm always hugging people. That's why I'm loving on people. That's why no matter who they are, and in fact, today at school mass, they were talking about when people treat you poorly, you still treat them good. And that's something I always try to focus on doing. And people say to me, why are you so nice to that person? They're not even nice to you. They don't even like you. I don't care.
They probably need it more than you do.
Heck yeah. And sometimes I need it.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important. And I think that's good stuff to share. And so how do you carry that over into your business?
I would say the number one thing is I could say maybe people in our office get worried about the board and whose name's popping up on the board.
You better be worried about it if you're on the bottom.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you better be worried about it every day, but not for the wrong reasons.
Correct.
So I'm not worried about deals that Jake is doing, or you're doing, or Todd's doing. I got to work on my work.
Yep.
And the only way I can work on that is putting my name on the board. So, when Todd sells a house, I don't ask him, bro, how much, bro? How much you get paid, bro? Like, no. Well, I'm hustling on my, not on my own, obviously, because we're a team, but you got to be individualized. And you know what I mean? Because we're all different.
And we talk about that all the time, that self-reflection. I think the people that grow the most in our world are the people that can self-reflect, that can say, I screwed up, I can do better, I will do better. And then, you kind of, you look at all of that and say, how do I now do better? And then you go do it. And then you reach a certain plateau and you got to do that again. And I think we've talked about this before on the show. I've always been a big believer in look in the fucking mirror.
Yes.
Quit worrying about everyone else. Quit blaming other people, because everything you have in your life is based on what you desire and what you're willing to work for, and what you said. So often people get stuck in their head and they start thinking about how to do something perfectly, which paralyzes them, and they don't take action, like making phone calls.
Yep.
Right. I remember we sat down one of the first few weeks you were here. We were all in the room.
That was the first day.
That was the first day I made you call?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I remember that. I literally thought about that last night.
Really?
Weirdly. That's crazy.
So we just put them all in a room and said, here, start prospecting.
Yeah, and you had it on the Mojo dial, and this lady was not trying to hear what I was saying. She was trying every single way to hang up that phone, and you were just like, keep asking questions, like make her engaged. And not yes or no questions, but questions like, where are you from? Like, what's your motivation? Get to know the person, because if you make it personal, they're going to stick with you.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think that, we like to do that. I mean, we interviewed a guy a couple of weeks ago. He came to our meeting. We put him on the spot and had him dialing.
Yeah.
Because, look, you've got to be able to do that. I mean, at some point, you've got to be able to create, this little Doomaflitchy right here is our lifeline.
Yep.
And through that lifeline, you've got to be able to create a relationship with somebody, and you can't do that by trying to sell them all the time.
Exactly. And, the first meeting is just getting that first in-person meeting. That's my goal.
So your goal is to get in front of them in person.
If we're in person, you're my client.
You're going to.
That's the way I think.
Because they're gonna see how authentic
they're
you
gonna.
are.
Yep.
They're probably gonna laugh.
I'm not gonna bullshit you. You're gonna have a good time. I'm gonna find the answers I don't know, and I'm never gonna lie to you. And I know the contract backwards. And I like to make it a good time, because if you're not out here having a good day every single day, you're not having a positive mindset, then all you're doing is bringing people down.
Well, and I mean, that's the beauty of this, is that we get to choose our mindset,
Yep.
right? And we get to choose our attitude each day. People always say to me, how do you never have a bad day? Because I don't. We did a podcast, Innovative Health, and they were talking about, well, sometimes you have a bad day. I said, no, you don't. I've been through stuff that no one can imagine, that there can't be a bad day for me, right? I mean, now that doesn't mean if there's a tragedy or something like that, I'm of course going to be sad and I'm going to mourn that. But I wake up every single morning happy to be alive, blessed to the gills, and just go have fun and enjoy life.
Yep. Yeah, I'm the same way. If you're not doing that, waking up with at least starting with a positive mindset, you may have negative circumstance, but what's the saying? Life is 5% of what happens to you and 95% of how you react to it. So, I mean, that's adversity. It could be family, anything. But, I mean, if you stay on an even keel, don't get emotional, don't get ups and downs, but just stay even, just think things through. That's what I always try to do. Just find something positive.
Okay, so let's go back to the phone thing, because when it comes to business and prospecting, why are people so afraid to pick up the phone and call someone? And then the second thing is, why are people so afraid to be on Facebook Live?
I don't know. I mean, I don't mind being on Facebook Live. I mean, I ain't on your level. I don't get on that much, but
hold on, we're gonna go live.
Yeah. No, I would say.
Why don't they want to prospect?
You're thinking about all the people are afraid of denial, right?
Yeah,
I mean, people are scared. That's like walking up to a girl, at the bar, and she shoots you down.
Not at the bar, at church.
At church.
There you go.
There you go. At St. John's. Apple Fest this weekend.
We'll cut that out because this is going to air like in 2 weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, you can't live in fear, and you can't. But that's again trying to get outside of your head, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we say be standing, put a smile on your face, get your earphones on, so that you can jive with it a little bit. Have fun with it.
I'm with you, and that's what I like being. I like being on my feet when I'm calling. I like walking outside. I like walking through the grass. I don't know. I can't sit at a desk.
What I remember when you speaking of desk, I remember when we moved from the other office to here, and we
I ain't working with much space over there. That's for sure.
Oh man, but then we're gonna tighten that all up. You saw the builder was here today. We're gonna rock this thing out. This is gonna be
if you drive down to go to 75 every day, you're gonna be looking at a beautiful building every single morning out Shiawassee. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
And that's because of this man right here, and I appreciate everything he's done for me.
I love you, man. I appreciate you. I love you like a brother.
Love you too, bro.
Like I said earlier in the show, you bring out a part of me that I have to suppress a little bit, and I love being able to share that. It makes me fired up.
Yeah.
I love it. So tell us, before we go, new agent to the marketplace, what are they going to do? The market's easy, right? Selling real estate's easy, right?
Depends how hard you want to work.
How hard you want to work? What about where you go work? If you're sitting in that cubicle by yourself with no support, what are you going to do?
You're done.
You're done.
You're a duck in the water, man, with no wings. I don't even know why I said that.
I feel
but
like we're all fucked up.
that shit didn't even make no sense. A fucking duck in the water? What the fuck is that? That shit just came out my mouth, bro.
Holy shit.
I'm tripping.
You know why? Because it's hot in here, and you feel like a mallard.
Shit, I feel like a big ass mallard in a tiny ass pond. shit. No, but I think it's important to get with the right people, because people is everything in a business like this. And guys like John Wentworth, Todd Warda, Andy Belson, Jake Worthington helped me out a lot, out in the field.
Yeah.
In the showings. And,
You got me cracked up. All I can think about is you in a pond. Hey, have you ever been duck hunting?
yeah.
Have you? I've never been. You're going to take me.
Yeah, let's go.
Aren't
Come
you
with me and my pops. You better bring a big shotgun, bro. I ain't going down easy.
All right. Talk to us a little bit about what is your goal for 2019?
My goal for 2019, I want to get more in, I want to grow my knowledge.
Yeah.
I want to be able to answer a lot of these questions that I'm having to go back and call on.
And you will. That'll come with time.
That will come, but my goal is, after our coaching call today, my goal is to learn one thing a day. Whether it's learning what that kind of crown molding is called, or
do you know what these are called?
Foam.
Those are called
Foamies.
Those are called mallards.
You're tripping, bro. No, I just want to improve on one thing every day. And we had coaches that would always say, you don't got to improve 100% in one day. You just got to improve 1% daily.
For 100 days. Hey, tell me this. How's your mom? She must be proud of you.
Yeah, she is. My mom is. She's a great lady. She did a lot to raise me, my brother, and then my cousin, and both my cousins that we adopted, so they're my brothers and sisters now. But she sacrificed a lot for us. She sacrificed a lot for me when I was in high school, because I told her, I'm like, Mom, you're not going to pay for me to go to college. I'm like, I'm going to be a college football player. And, probably a lot of parents hear that from their kids.
Sure.
And my dad was the same way. He was like, once I got there, he's like, I never thought this shit was going to happen. And my mom was too. And my mom was with me when I got my first scholarship offer, and we cried in the parking lot together.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was an amazing feeling, especially for her to be there with me.
But to go from that college football scene
Yep.
to then moving back home and making that phone call to me saying, bro, I need a job. I need to figure this shit out because I'm not going to play pro, and I don't have any other career path, and so just knowing that and meeting your mom, I can see she's full of love. And so she must be at home right now smiling, and just very proud of you and of Patrick. And, and I know Patrick's doing good things. I don't know the rest of your siblings, but I just have to think she's very proud of you for being able to make that transition and making something of yourself. And I think that's the beauty of real estate is at the end of the day, yes, we have a team, but it's up to us.
I think she's really, really proud of me with it, because she knew where I was at mentally, and, I was in struggle, had some bad stuff, happen in my life. And, she was just happy to see me pick my ass off the ground.
Yeah.
And, it ain't how many times you get knocked down. Just got to keep swinging. And, some days you hit a home run. Some days you get knocked on your ass. It's all right, though. Just wake up the next morning. Yep.
No doubt about it.
Yep.
All right. So you've been on our team for how long again?
8 months.
8 months. And how many pending and closed do you have?
Including my referral listings?
Just whatever. Pending and closed.
22.
22 deals. That's more than most agents do in a year, by the way. That's more than a lot of seasoned agents do in a year, by the way. You've done it in 8 months. And for 2019, what is your goal as far as number of transactions?
Number of transactions, I want to be over 33.
33? That's an interesting number. You like Patrick Waugh?
No, I'm an odd number guy.
I like it. And I think that, ideally, when I look at a lot of the guys on this team, one thing I know about you is you're not going to become complacent. I think there's a lot of complacency in life in general, right?
Everywhere.
I mean, people get, oh, boy, I did 25. I'm going to do 25 again next year. And I think having those lofty goals is super important. I used to set those goals to sell this many total, this many over 250, this many over 500, this many over $1 million. And I think it's important to do that. But at the end of the day, goals are shiny and cute and pretty, but you got to do the work. And I think that's something that we know that you're going to continue to do and serve people with love and have some fun with it. And you certainly bring a lot of fun to our office. So we love that.
Yeah. One thing about the goals too, a goal is just a wish without a plan. And that plan is the work you got to do to achieve the goal,
Yeah,
right?
no doubt.
So, I mean, you can sit there and throw up goals on your mirror and all that every single day, but if you're not living what it takes to get there,
And when do
it's
you
not
live
working.
it? I mean, this is the thing with realtors in general. They like to do this, right?
And then they blame it on the market.
Yep. Work real hard, get a few deals pending, and then go screw off.
Yeah.
Work real hard, get a field, and then like, oh shit, work real hard. I mean, to me, that's that constant, that steady of being here all the time, showing up. It's like we talk about all the time, be attached to the process, not the outcome.
Yep.
And if you can stay attached to that process, you're going to have very good results. And I think that, and again, going back to work ethic and just the willingness to put in the work is what's going to elevate you to the next level, and you're coachable for some reason.
I like to be good. And I like to learn from the best, and that's why I came
right,
to you.
baby. What about when we were moving all the furniture?
That was great, man.
We moved this entire place in a day, basically.
Basically. I mean, you want to talk about some teamwork.
That was unbelievable.
I mean, I didn't have to go to the gym. We were just
rolling.
curling tables and desks and computers all day, and everybody worked hard together. And it was, I mean, when I saw that, I was like, this is special.
Yeah.
Really. Because when I was taking my real estate class, Kevin, the teacher, was like explaining about how it's going to be for these agents. And I'm like, I had already been, just kind of working, doing small stuff and just learning, before
you were hanging out at the office.
Yeah, pretty much. And for about 3 or 4 weeks probably before I even took my class. And I was like, I'm glad I ain't going where these dudes are going.
Yeah, no doubt, right?
Because they're going to be struggling. I'm like, that is not how it is over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what, when at the end of the day, that's what I'm most proud of, is that, providing people such a great opportunity, right? I very, very much embrace the fact that to be able to take someone like you and help you and essentially give you some direction,
Change my life,
and change
bro.
your life. I mean, that's what keeps me sleeping good at night.
Yep.
I love that. I
My dog.
love you, baby.
Love you too.
Love you very much. ThoroughbredPodcast.com. Check us out. SoundCloud. In the cloud.
YouTube.
Clouds and dirt.
I love it.
YouTube.
John Wentworth, Facebook. Everybody.
Always live all the time.
Always.
We should do that. We should just be live all the time.
Dude.
No? You think that's a bad idea? Why?
Nobody's going to watch that shit.
Well,
They're gonna be like, what is wrong with these motherfuckers?